My name is Emma Walters. I hadn't been home in 5 years. Not because I didn't want to, but because I couldn't. Growing up in the Walters household meant silence. Our family didn't talk about pain. Or fear. Or love, really. We just existed under the same roof. When the call came, it was my older brother Daniel. His voice cracked. "Emma," he said, "Dad's gone." Just 2 words and I was 10 years old again, hiding in the hallway, hearing our parents fight behind closed doors. I flew back to our small town, unsure what to expect. I hadn't spoken to Mom in years. My younger sister Lily barely texted anymore. And Daniel, well, he had always tried to hold us together. The fixer. The strong one. But even he sounded hollow on the phone. The funeral was held on a rainy Tuesday. The kind of rain that seeps into your bones. I stood by the casket, staring at the man I both loved and resented. My father. A man full of contradictions. Charming in public, cold in private. A man who taught me to ride a bike. And taught me never to cry. People came. Neighbors. Old friends. Even his old army buddies. They all spoke of what a great man he was. And I stood there silent. Thinking. You didn't really know him. Not like we did. After the service, we gathered in the house. The same house we all grew up in. The house where the kitchen tile still had cracks from when Dad slammed the chair during one of his rages. The hallway still smelled like the cedar polish Mom used every Sunday. We sat around the old dining table. Mom poured coffee like nothing had changed. "He left the house to you 3, she said, without looking at any of us. Lily blinked. "Wait, all 3 of us?" "Yes," Mom said. "He wanted you to decide together what to do with it." That's when it started. The tension. The unease. Because the 3 of us? We weren't close. Not anymore. Too much had been left unsaid for too long. And none of us knew that Dad had left behind more than just a house. He left behind secrets. And the closer we got to each other, the closer we got to the truth that would tear us apart. That night I couldn't sleep. I walked down to the basement, just like I used to when I needed to think. The air was thick with old paint and forgotten years. And that's where I found it. Tucked inside a rusted toolbox. A letter. It was addressed to all 3 of us. The handwriting unmistakably his. "Do not open unless all of you are together," it said. My heart pounded. For the first time in years I felt afraid. The next morning we sat in the living room. I placed the letter on the coffee table like it was a bomb. Daniel looked from me to Lily. "Should we open it?" Lily shrugged. "I mean, it's from him. What's the worst it could say?" We opened it. And everything changed. In the letter, Dad admitted to something none of us expected. "I wasn't always honest with you. With your mother. With myself. There are things I've hidden that you deserve to know. If you're reading this, I hope you're finally ready to hear the truth." The letter led us to a safety deposit box. Inside old photos, documents, letters, and a birth certificate. One that didn't match anything we knew. It belonged to a girl. Born in 1993. The same year as Lily. But the name wasn't hers. "Who is Sarah Jensen?" Daniel whispered. Lily went pale. I don't know that name." But the resemblance in the photo was undeniable. Same eyes. Same dimple in the left cheek. Mom refused to talk about it at first. "That was a long time ago," she said. "It doesn't matter now." But it did. Because as we dug deeper, we realized Lily wasn't our full sister. She was adopted. And none of us knew. Not even Lily. The secret had shattered the fragile trust between us. Lily locked herself in her room. Daniel paced the kitchen like a caged animal. I sat in the backyard swing trying to remember a childhood that now felt like a lie. What else didn't we know? Who were we really? Mr. Halvorsen, our old neighbor, came by the next day. He was in his 80s now, but his memory was sharper than ever. "I always wondered when that secret would come out," he said. He told us a story. About the night Mom came home with a baby. One that wasn't hers. She was crying. Your father had that look in his eye. The look of someone who had made a deal with the devil. We confronted Mom again. This time she broke. "He had an affair," she admitted. "With a woman named Rachel Jensen. She died during childbirth. And your father, he brought the baby home. And you just kept her?" Lied to all of us. I asked. She was innocent. And I couldn't lose him. Not again. We were all silent. Lily, standing in the doorway, whispered, "So who am I?" And no one had an answer. Lily packed her bags that night. "I need space," she said, barely meeting our eyes. "I need to figure out who I am, without any of you." I wanted to stop her, to pull her into a hug like we were kids again. But the truth had dug too deep. Daniel didn't say a word. He just opened the front door and watched her walk out. The house felt colder after that. Mom spent her days in the garden. Daniel kept himself busy fixing old things that didn't need fixing. I sat with Dad's letters trying to piece together the man behind the lies. And then one night I found it. Another letter. Hidden in the back of one of his old notebooks. This one was to me. "Emma," it said. "I never told you why I pushed you so hard. Why I seemed so distant. But you were the most like me. And I was afraid. Afraid you'd inherit not just my strengths but my demons too." That night a storm rolled in. The kind that rumbled like old memories. I was in the attic looking through old photo albums when I smelled it. Smoke. Daniel yelled from downstairs. "Mom's shed." We ran out into the rain. Flames were licking up the side of the small wooden shed Dad built when we were kids. The fire department arrived quickly, but the shed was gone. Ashes. Later, we found out the fire wasn't accidental. Someone had poured gasoline inside. We all looked at each other in silence. Had Lily come back? Had someone else wanted those secrets to stay buried? That night, Daniel said something I'll never forget. "We don't know our family, Emma." "Not really. What if there's more?" He was right. The next day we went through Dad's military files. He had served overseas in the 80s, something he never talked about. But there were letters there too. Old ones. From another woman. And a photo. Of a boy. Daniel stared at it. This can't be real. But it was. There was another child. A son. His name was Jonah. Born in Germany, 1985. The woman's name was Anya Keller. Dad had met her during deployment. The letter was written in broken English. "Your son, he is like you. Strong. Quiet. I will not disturb your family." Daniel looked like the air had been punched out of him. "I'm not the oldest," he whispered. "There's someone else." We sat in stunned silence. "I have to find him," Daniel finally said. "I need to know if he's out there." The next weeks passed in a blur. Daniel hired someone to help trace Jonah. Mom barely spoke. She just nodded when we gave her updates. Her eyes distant like the past was catching up faster than she could run. Then one evening, Daniel got a call. "I found him," he said. "He's in Chicago." I didn't know what to feel. Excitement? Dread? But one thing was certain. Our family wasn't finished breaking open. We met Jonah in a quiet cafe on the south side of Chicago. He walked in wearing a leather jacket, his hair cropped short, eyes sharp and searching. When he saw us, he froze. Then sat down slowly. "You must be Daniel," he said. His voice was calm. Almost too calm. "And you're Jonah," Daniel replied. "Our brother." Jonah didn't smile. I always wondered why my father never came back. Guess I know now. There was pain in his voice. But not anger. Just weight. Like he'd carried this truth his whole life. We told him everything. About Lily. About the letter. About the fire. He listened. Quietly. Then he said, "You think someone's trying to hide something? Something more?" I nodded. "We keep digging and we keep finding more lies. I don't think it's over." Jonah leaned back in his chair. "Then let's find out what else he buried." Back at the house we searched every inch. Jonah noticed something none of us ever had. A loose floorboard under the stairs. Beneath it, a metal box. Inside, an old cassette tape labeled for when they're ready. Daniel found a tape player in the attic. We sat in silence as Dad's voice filled the room. "If you're hearing this, then I'm gone. And you've uncovered more than I ever wanted you to. I lied to protect you. But I know now, lies only poison the ground they're planted in." He told us everything. About Jonah. About Lily. About the guilt that haunted him every day. He admitted to pushing Mom away. To pushing us all away. Because he thought it was the only way to keep us from becoming him. He ended the tape with these words. Don't be like me. Love each other while there's still time. We cried. All of us. For the father we never really knew. For the childhoods we lost. For the chance at healing we now held in our hands. Weeks passed. Lily came back. She didn't say anything when she arrived. Just walked into the kitchen, dropped her bag and hugged Mom for a long, long time. No words. Just shaking shoulders and years of silence breaking open. Jonah visited more often. He and Daniel spent hours in the garage, fixing up Dad's old truck like it was therapy. They didn't talk much, but that was okay. Some things didn't need words. Mom smiled more. She planted flowers outside the shed where the fire had been. It was her way of saying we start again. And me? I sat on the porch swing one morning, watching the sun rise, feeling something I hadn't felt in years. Peace. We decided to keep the house. Not sell it. Not because it held good memories, but because it held all of them, the beautiful and the broken. And now it was ours again. We repainted the walls, removed the cracked tiles, opened the windows wide, let the light in. For the first time in our lives, we weren't just people who shared blood. We were family. Truly. Not because we were perfect. Not because we forgot the pain. But because we chose each other. Again and again. Beneath the same roof.